I first moved onto the Silwood estate in about 1981, early 82 maybe.
What block did you live in?
I lived in Eugenia Road, a couple of doors in, right next to Terry's Arch.
How old was you when you moved on?
Oh, I was 20, 21.
What you was a mum when you moved in?
I was a mum, yeah. We lived on the Canada estate originally, in Regina Point, up on the 18th floor of the tower block down there. And I had my first son, and after about a year, we thought, you've got to get out of here, you can't be living on the 18th floor with a kiddie. So we had friends who lived on the Silwood, and they knew a couple of squatters who were living in my place in Eugenia Road. And I said, look, if we get the squatters out, put it into the council. And I have a word, tell them, if you get the squatters out, can I move in? So that's exactly what we did. We come round here, we knocked on the door, had a word with them, Jock and Rachel they were called, and persuaded them nicely to move out, because they can go and squat anywhere. I was desperate, I needed a proper family home. So they moved out after much deliberation from the council. I said, like, if they move out and you let me move in, I'll do the place up, because it was a squat and it had been wrecked. So we did it up and moved in.
How did you persuade them?
Just lots of phone calls, lots of logic talking, just, it made sense. You've got squatters in there, you want squatters out, we need a home, we need to move in and give our boy a family home. So that's what I did. Just chatted to them, because like they already knew people that we knew, explained our situation. They could just move on anywhere. They saw the sense of, letting us move in. There was nothing nasty about it. It was really nice, and they just agreed to move out. Once they knew obviously that the council had agreed, which was really nice of them, yeah.
Was it a better move for you and your family?
Oh, definitely. Yeah, it was the best move ever. Yeah. Started a whole new life for us, really, because after, when my son was born and we moved into there, a couple of years later I had my daughter and started going to the tennis hall, which was just over there, and they had a mother and baby group there. So I used to go there, got involved with that, got involved with the mother and toddler group and play group, and then it became obvious that the place needed to be bigger, we needed more space. And we were told about the possibility of underneath Lambourne House being turned into a facility for the community. So as a group of mums, because we were all there together, we got involved with that. And as I said, Sue Rawcliffe, she used to run one of the other projects that was underneath Lambourne House next to where the community centre was built. She was involved with the initial setting up with the council that this was going to be a purpose-built building for the community, for youth in particular. And so we helped her really, supported her, and, got all the parents together to let everyone know, yeah, we need this space, we want this space. And as I said to you a little bit earlier, Sue said to me about working here. I said, yeah, I don't mind doing a bit of cleaning. She went, no. She said, you're better than that, girl. She went, you should do the administration. There's an administration post. So they held interviews, and I went for an interview with the committee that had been got together to run the organisation and members of the council. I got the job as administrator. So I was administrator for some years, probably about 5 or 6 years, and then the current manager left, and I applied for the post of manager there, and that's where that's where it all began, really.
What did they provide for the young people around here?
Well, it went right from naught so it's like 16, 17, and it would have been for older kids if they'd have chose to use it. But at that stage, kids don't really want to be going to youth clubs, to be honest. So I'd say roughly from 0 to 16, they were the mother and baby groups, and there was the under fives, the youth group, and then there was a youth group for the intermediary ages, and then it went on to senior youth provision. And all the nights of the week were open and split into different age groups so that all ages were provided for.
And so you're...
That was just youth groups.
Yeah.
But then other than that, there was loads of stuff that we provided. We did play schemes every Easter, every summer. Later on in the years, we had a lot of problems on the estate, kids riding around on motorbikes and whatever, so I got I was actually one of the first people to get any national lottery funding when they first started, and I had a motorbike project built for the kids. It was on the back of the building, and employed staff to come along, teach them how to work on the bikes, do mechanics, how to ride safely, coupled up with Ilderton Motor Project as well. So that was a good provision for the kids. And we had new fencing. I had new fencing built all the way around the building, like a stockade fencing. I had a can bit of race fast with a cafe built in there, and it was completely safety turned down and new play equipment for the kids. That was the youth provision. But obviously it's a community centre, so we did a lot of other stuff.
So your children would have grown up on the estate?
Oh yeah.
Was it a good childhood for them?
Yes, it was a good childhood for him. I think maybe sometimes they did resent it a little bit because I was forever working. When you live and work on the same estate, it's like you're there, you're at work 24/7, anyone could knock on my door, they all knew me. Trust me.
Yeah.
They all knew me, is it? Yeah, carry on.
So go on, say that again. So your children were...
Yeah, our children grew up on the estate, and like I said, working and living on the same estate is, especially when it's community based. Anyone was knocking on my door any time of the day or night, I didn't mind that. And because of the nature of the work as well, sort of start work at 9 in the morning, but because of my role in the community centre, I'd often work till 9 or 10 at night because of meetings. There was forever meetings, loads of meetings. And also it was a community hall, and it was very well used, it was very well accessed. So being one of the only key holders, I'd have to be there to go and lock up and supervise during the times that the hall was let out to the community. And that could be any time during the week and weekends for parties. So they did resent a little bit at the time. It took me away from them. I was working, Mum.
Why did you move away?
Well, I moved away in the end, 2 reasons. One, because I did it for 14 years. It was quite a stressful job. A lot of that stress was down to funding, as always. It's a split borough estate now. The split borough estate, we're trying to get funding from Southwark and Lewisham. Lewisham were always quite good. They didn't have any problems with funding. But every year without fail, I'd have to make a deputation to Southwark. We'd apply for our funding every year, but every year they would want to cut it and shut us down. So, that was really stressful. Plus, also, there was a lot of regeneration going on in this area. I was part of Deptford City Challenge, if you remember that, and the SRB team that was actually based on Peeps Estate, but did involve Silwood as well. So I was part of the single regeneration project. too many meetings, too much paperwork. Initially, you see, I'd gone into that job to do roof work, to work with kids. Yeah, to work with kids, and I ended up in the office most of the time doing untold funding applications and lots of administration.
You still in touch with any of those kids that come through?
I'm not in touch with any of them really, apart from Gary, because obviously there's Silwood, that's running on Facebook, and the children of my own old youth workers, because I was still old friends, and we do meet up and I see their kids, who are not kids now, obviously they're all adults and grown up now, but yeah, I do keep in touch with people.
Do you still do that work now, Deborah?
No, I don't. I'm not working now. I went into early retirement because when I left here, I went off to do arts administration for the MIDI Music Company, which is a company down in Deptford, which is run by Rosie Brewster, and she actually was part of our group in Silwood. She was one of the people that I let space out to for her to run the MIDI Music Company, which is for young people. So I went off to do arts administration there. Then I went into mental health for 3 years, working with schizophrenics. And after that, I was on a bit of a burnout, to be honest. I was quite stressed and worn out, so I stopped working.
Anything you'd like to know?
Well, I love Silwood. This is home. This is always, doesn't matter what area, what period, will be a community. And I can still see that now from the post that I have, that people are still strongly involved in their community. Obviously a lot has changed on Silwood now, but yeah, I mean, I wish them all the best. Yeah, I hope they carry on keeping it as a strong community, because without community spirit, nothing matters. There's always something going on Silwood. So, I remember
That ain't a funny story though, is it?
No, it ain't a funny story, but it just sticks in my brain. Things that would stick out in your mind. Well, that's not many people that sit in their front room and watch someone going over about it, isn't it? Always sirens. I remember when I first moved here, a big newspaper clipping came out saying that the Silwood Triangle, one of the worst estates in the world. I can't remember what newspaper it was now. You know what? You muck in, you get involved, you become friends with everyone, and it's hard. Since I've left there, I've never felt like anywhere is hot. When we talk about home, we think of Silwood, you know. In the end as well, the other reason why I didn't move was because of all that trouble. I mean, I had a boy coming up to teenage years, and I thought, you know, I need to get him away from this area, really. And we moved to Plumstead, and yeah, we did okay there for quite a few years, but still lost him. He died of a heroin overdose 10 years ago. Actually 12 years ago.
So that's something you can't escape.
You can't escape because it's everywhere, yeah, so you should never knock an area for being bad because it's prevalent, it's everywhere.
Yeah,
so,
my son's area has been since he was 15, he's nearly 40. That's and he's still in the city, he's almost living in the city.
Wow, that's good long innings, really.
You know, so
he was, I think, my dad was 28 when he went, but and we've taken over looking after my grandson now. We took him, well, he'd done that, he was 28, and 2 years later the child's mother done something. So we've got him now, which is another reason why I've not worked, because I've been bringing him up. Starting all over again. But anyway, that was another reason why I wanted to move, really, was to get him away from the area, because at that point it was prevalent on Silwood. There was a lot of drugs going about. I don't know if we shouldn't name names on this, but yeah,
Okay.
You know, we made sure it was actually a well-utilised building. You know, but you needed to, because if you didn't actually prove your worth, prove your salt, you wouldn't get your funding.
Yeah.
You know. So yeah, there was a lot going on. And I'm really proud of them years. I'm proud of all of my team. Were fantastic. They worked so hard. They put in above and beyond. Do you know why? Because they're all mums. We all lived on the estate, and we had the community at heart. You know, what we did was good for us and good for all the kids on the estate. We all lived on the estate. Pretty much everyone who worked there, to do with youth, for sure, actually lived here. And as I said,
you can't just expect a community spirit to come to find you. You've got to make it. You've got to create
exactly,
it
you need to
keep
create
it.
Yeah. Which is good, because there was such a lot of involvement with all the community. That's why I'd get people knocking on my door. They knew me. Oh, I've had a letter from the council, they're going to evict me. I go and see Deb. I might not know the answers, but I can get in touch with people who would. You know. It's, and it was good because we got lots of councillors involved in that project. Because, as you well know, it's not like what you know, it's who you know. I've got Simon Hughes involved. He was a patron on our committee, and he was always there to back us when it came to things like deputy at Southwark Council. And I would go up to the House of Commons and meet up with him, and we'd go through lots of stuff, and he was really supportive. Yeah, it's a lot of good work was done.
That's right.
Good team.
Yeah.
Good team. I hope this place gets sorted out.
Yeah, I kind of thought it was, but just reading what's been going on last couple of days.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't know about any of this until the other day, really, and then I just did what you do. You go and Google, you trawl it all and have a look and see what's happening. Ellen Keogh got a lot to answer on, haven't they? And to be shook up a bit.
It seems always, the update nose, I just see things going on. Trying to get some classes going with a project Rebirth, it's an educational project. And they seem up for that. I didn't know there was all these problems.
Well, it seems like community access is a problem, which is absolutely ridiculous because it's community building.
Yeah,
it's the same as ours. It's
every night you was open for youth.
Every night, yeah. We had clubs
nothing
running. We'd do the young ones early, and then have the old ones in later. You know, and we'd take them out as well. You know, go out on trips. My fundraise got this huge minibus with a tail lift, so we could take the disabled groups out as well. And we used to take kids out on trips. We'd take them away down to Macaroni Woods, in Gloucestershire. Loads of stuff. I used to take them camping. We'd go to a field down in Kent, which we still go to actually. I take kids down there. Some of them have never even seen a cow. Couldn't believe it. But by the time they come back, I was walking in and out of them. Yeah, no, it's great.
What about camping down food and cows?
I just said that. Yeah, we had some really good times, and the kids appreciate it. They give us a lot of trouble, especially the older lot. I'm sure Gary might tell you a few tales about that, but we did some good things with them kids. And we had kids coming to our youth and community centre, especially from the Peeps estate, because they were too bad. They got kicked out there. They weren't allowed in, so they used to come to us. But we had a way with them.
Yeah.
You know, we had a way with them where it's approaching them on the right level. You know, it's no good being muck about, just be on their level, and they would accept you more, and respect you more, and accept, right, you're not coming in here with that can of Coke, because I know it's got vodka in, get out, you know. Kids are kids, they're going to try it, aren't they? But, didn't get away much. No, not with me and Tricia on the door. No. And I'm sure I would know your Jimmy if I see him.
Yeah, if you see a photo.
Yeah. It was a long time ago, and you just forget names.
Yeah.
Only time passes.
I know you used to go on trips and all that.
Yeah, willing to be with us. Yeah. Take them down Oxley's Woods. Yeah. Try and lose them. They always found us.